What if you could double the power of your story by using two simple letters, A and B? Well, the A story and the B story. Whether or not you've heard of them before, they are super powerful and super misunderstood. So, in this lesson, we're going to demystify these two terms, talk about where they come from, and help you harness their power to power up your story. This video is a lesson from a full free mega course on our website. If you're ready to supercharge your storytelling, click the link in the description and start your journey today. This video is also part of a series, so if you haven't watched the previous videos, there are links down below. In the last lesson, we mentioned that strong stories actually have two stories inside them, which we can label as the A story and the B story. The A story is the external story and may also be known as the plot, whereas the B story is the internal story and is linked with the theme and the idea of character arcs. The A story is what the story is about, while the B story is what the story is actually about. To get a better understanding, let's see the A story and B story in action with the most famous ogre the world has ever known, the Green Fisherman. No, it's Shrek. It's obviously Shrek. In this example, the A story follows Shrek as he tries to reclaim his swamp and win the heart of Princess Fiona. Notice these are very external things. This is what you would call the plot of the story. It's what the story is about. Meanwhile, the B story is about Shrek learning that even though he sees himself as a hideous ogre, that doesn't mean he is undeserving or incapable of receiving love. Notice this journey to self-acceptance is very internal, and you could easily say this is the theme of the story or descriptive of Shrek's character arc, and it's what the story is really about. One thing this example highlights is that these stories are developing simultaneously. You can see this in our diagram as well. It's not like one happens before the other. They are two different aspects of the overall story. So, have stories always been like this? Well, no. Modern stories are actually a fusion of two different types of stories, which in the world of story theory are often labeled as masculine stories and feminine stories. Without covering the complexities of gender, masculine stories are often focused on conquest and external reward, represented by the classic hero's journey, whereas feminine stories are focused on connection and internal change, represented by the more modern heroine's journey. Another way these two types are often represented are plot-driven stories and character-driven stories. Plot-driven stories are externally focused, whereas character-driven stories are internally focused. But however you describe them, the point is a lot of stories, especially older ones, are focused more on either the A story or the B story. They're either about gaining some external reward or undergoing some internal change. But as we look at most modern stories, they fuse these types together into a new type of story, with double the power. And these stories are about undergoing some internal change in order to gain some external reward. That last line is super important because it's the glue that links the A story and B story together. Undergoing an internal change to gain an external reward. A character wants something physical, but before they can earn it, they must make a psychological change. That describes most modern stories. This is closely related to the want, the goal, the need, and the epiphany, which we broke apart in the last mini-course. And when you apply those concepts to the overall story, you get the statement we just laid out. A character wants something physical, but before they can earn it, they must make a psychological change. Going back to our Shrek example, Shrek wants Princess Fiona's love. But before he can earn it, he must learn to love himself. Or, as RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? You can find this lesson in a lot of romances, including She's Out of My League and The Edge of 17, just to name a few. If you can spot this lesson in any other romances or non-romances, comment them down below. In the next two lessons, we'll look closer at the A story and B story individually as the plot and the theme, so keep watching to get a better understanding of how they function separate from one another. But if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of the A story, B story relationship and see it in action, the extended version of this lesson covers why these two stories work so well together and covers an in-depth breakdown of the A story and B story from the 1982 classic Tootsie. See you there.